Hi there, Steve Stine from Guitarzoom here, and one of the things I want you to really think about when it comes to effective guitar soloing is learning how to control the noise, okay? One of the biggest things to learn how to do on the guitar is to clean everything up as you're playing. So as you're approaching your solo, whether you're playing pentatonic, diatonic, it doesn't make any difference. The main thing is when you play, you want everything to be clean, and you want it to be crisp, and you want it to be clear. I've been teaching for going on, I think, 27 years now, and I've taught people all over the world how to play guitar. And the main thing is that when people play, there's a few things that they tend to do wrong, and that's what I want to talk about with you today a little bit, is how to clean these things up. So the first thing I want you to think about is the approach of your guitar pick. What I want you to do, you'll notice as I'm sitting here, my guitar is at a bit of an angle the way it is. The first mistake a lot of players make is that they have a tendency of turning the guitar pick far too much. So when they play, the pick isn't really picking the string, it's really just slicing through. So you're not really getting a nice, aggressive, percussive sound when you play. So what I want you to start thinking about is as you're holding the guitar pick, whether it's a big pick or a little pick, whatever it is you like to use, the first thing is thinking about the point of that guitar pick. If that point is a bit sharper, you're going to have more availability to kind of dig into that guitar string. Now, everybody's different. It's just an option. But I want you to think about that a little bit. And then the second thing is the approach that you're taking with that guitar pick when you pluck those strings. So you'll notice right now I'm just using the G minor pentatonic scale. And my two choices as I'm picking this scale is to pick downward or upward. And the truth is it doesn't really make any difference. What I want to do is I want to approach it with that percussive angle. So I get more aggression off of that when I'm playing. I can bite in a bit more as I'm playing. So that's the first step is having a pick possibly that has a bit sharper point to it. The second step is trying to make sure that as you're picking, you're getting more of a flat angle with the pick. You're not turning so much to where the pick is just sliding through the string. Now we get to the really good stuff. The most important thing with your left hand is that you're always controlling all 6 strings. Okay, this is something that a lot of people have a tendency of doing incorrectly when they play. Now, the amount of distortion that I'm using is going to make a huge difference on this. If I'm using very little distortion, you're not going to get as much noise by nature. If you're using a lot of distortion, of course, you've got to control it a bit more. So I'm just kind of in between here with a bit of a bluesy sound. A little bit of delay on there, a little bit of reverb on there. So what I want you to start thinking about is at all times, try to control all 6 strings. Even if you're only playing one string, try and control all 6 strings. Okay? If I'm playing a chord, I want the strings to ring out. That's part of the nature of the chord that I'm playing. But when I'm soloing, if I'm down here on the first string and I'm playing, if I don't control these top 5 strings, watch what happens, okay? If I do this. And they all start vibrating. So one thing that I try and tell my students all the time is to always think about what's happening between the lines, like on a piece of paper. It's not what you're writing or it's not what you're playing. It's what's happening in between what you're playing. So as I'm playing this, if I'm on the first string and I'm playing something, whatever it might be, I want to learn how to deaden out all the other strings with a combination of my left hand and my right hand. So if I'm on the first string right here, I'm going to be in G minor pentatonic, playing 5 and 8, or excuse me, 3 and 6. What I want you to notice is how I'm using this hand to deaden out all the other strings by touching them lightly. Okay? Now, the second string is a bit of an issue because if I get too close with my right hand as I'm touching those, and I'm basically touching right here, that's where I touch. So as I'm coming across, I'm just lightly touching those strings to keep them quiet. Now, the second string is the trick because my action is happening on the first string, and I'm deadening all these top strings. So to give myself a little bit of a cushion, what I do is I use the tip of my index finger to deaden out the second string as I'm playing. So this string is being deadened by the tip of my index finger, and then all the other strings are being deadened by this hand right here, kind of on the palm of my hand right here on my thumb, right up here, kind of on the pad of my thumb. And again, I think it would depend on the difference in hand sizes, what's most comfortable for you, but that's basically what you want to do to control those. Now, as I move my way up the guitar this way, what happens is, of course, I got to get my hand out of the way because I got to play. So my left hand then takes over and starts deadening out everything underneath there. So for instance, if I was on the 6th string 3rd fret, which is G, I would be deadening out all the other strings with my first finger by lightly touching them. So it's not like playing a chord where you're trying to miss everything. I'm intentionally touching those strings so they are not able to vibrate. And as I'm moving down towards the floor, as I'm playing towards the floor, what happens then is my right hand has to start coming in and deadening out those strings again. So I'm playing with kind of a flat part of my pick, so I can get more aggression off those strings as I pick them. And as I move down, this hand slowly starts coming in and deadening out those strings. And then right there, what you're going to notice is I'm on the 10th fret of the 4th string. I'm adding some vibrato. But you'll notice that my first finger now is deadening everything behind it to keep everything quiet. Okay? So I will move between my left hand and its ability of being able to deaden out the notes that I don't want. And then I'll move to my right hand as I'm moving up and down the guitar. So when I'm up here on the top, on the 6th string, this hand is doing the work. As I slowly start moving down, this hand comes in and starts doing the rest of the work for the strings that I'm not using anymore. But I always have that cushion in between of using the tip of my index finger to lightly touch the string right above where the action is. So if I'm on the 2nd string, I'm lightly touching the 3rd string with the tip of my index finger to deaden that out. Then this hand is controlling everything above there. So I just want to play a little bit, and I want you to see how this is working. So, and I can bump up. What I'm going to do is purposely bump up the distortion a little bit, so you can see how important it is that I'm controlling this noise as I play. Again, touching everything as I play. This hand comes in, starts controlling these strings. Controlling the strings. Okay, so that's something that is really important for you to start thinking about. Don't worry about how fast you're playing or licks or anything like that. As you're moving around the guitar, a technique I teach a lot is called meandering, where you're just kind of moving around trying to get comfortable with the environment of your scale positions or whatever it is you might be doing. What you want to do is you want to get really comfortable with controlling everything. So don't try and play fast. Don't try and play everything that you've ever learned. Just enjoy the movement. And learn how to control those strings as you play. Now, another thing I want you to think about is what I just did right there. When I'm not playing, my volume is off. My volume is completely off. Okay? So I'm not having to hold the strings and get all this kind of noise. Especially if I was on stage, I'd probably be a lot louder and I'd get all kinds of noise. So whenever I'm not playing, my volume is automatically shut off. I just bump it off and I'm done. So watch, if I'm playing, my volume is off. And then when I'm ready, I'll turn my volume back on again and I'll start playing. And it's off again. Or I might turn it on and do a slide to get into whatever I'm doing. And when I'm done, it's off again. So it's a really nice way of keeping everything clean as you start using more distortion. If you're a player that doesn't really use much distortion, that's awesome. I'll go back here a little bit, turn my delay on. But again, you're going to notice that everything stays very clean as long as I'm in control of those strings. So a subtle idea, but it's going to make a huge difference in your guitar playing. Now in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to start learning how to do some vocal qualities with our guitar playing to really send the sound of your guitar solos to a brand new level. So it's really important. So please make sure that you check us out at guitarzoom.com. If you've got Facebook, I would advise you and what's the word I'm looking for? Invite you, I guess, would be a good word, to join the Guitarzoom community page. You can just look up Guitarzoom community on Facebook. And there what we do is we talk about all these kinds of things. There's a bunch of really awesome guitar players on there that are learning things just like you are. It's really positive, it's fun, and it's very educational. So it's a great place to go to start looking for new and fresh ideas. Or if you have a question about something, jump on there, ask a question, and let's chat about this stuff. I'm on there all the time as well, so we can talk about these things. So please, try this stuff out, see how the techniques works for you. Let me know if you have any issues with it on the Guitarzoom community page, and I'd be happy to respond to you. And let's get some dialogue going about this. And then when you're ready, what we're going to do is in the next video, we're going to come on back and we're going to start learning how to implement some awesome vocal qualities.